Happy Tuesday, folks. So I want to remind you, this is what's crazy about this realm. Uh, we live in multiple layers, and I know that I'm confusing you from the gate. So let me help you out here. Uh, it's my belief that our Heavenly Father wants us back home, but we're here right now. So like I told you guys yesterday, that the end of my morning prayer is always two parts. That I want to bring as much um, of heaven down here to earth as I can. That's the short term goal, because if me and you, and the veterans and military and all the warriors out there, there's always about what, um, 20 million of us that are alive. So if all of us are fulfilled and we know who we're serving, and also what money we've got out there, because I wrote that down today too. Don't forget the inheritance part of Colossians that we're going to talk about today. But we serve, but we're also supposed to be getting paid for it and all that kind of stuff. However, here, um, God doesn't show up every single day in the way that we humans want him to. He shows up in his way, which brings me to a whole other. We don't think the way he does. We don't do things the way he does. And if I could explain him, then he's not worth, as a pastor out there says, if you can explain your God, he's not worth serving. So good point back to you guys is that what he wants for us down here is to have a fulfilled life together. In That's why I say I'm a knight in God's army, because that's who I am. I'm a peaceful guy. I don't want to be violent and that kind of thing. So I'm glad I'm not having to be watching Bible stories and stuff like that. Man, people are lopping off heads and stuff, and I don't want to play a part in that. I want to prevent that, and that's what I think all of us want, is to prevent that. So in the meantime, we want to get paid, and so that's where inheritance stuff comes in too. So, but my short-term goal at the end of my let me start with that. My short-term goal at the end of my prayers every morning is to bring some heaven down to earth. That I want to make sure that people are seeing God's light, and that especially us service members and our families, that we should be a lot, I dare to say the word happier, but we should be, because God knows what you're going to do with your money. Dumb stuff, probably. We all do dumb stuff with our money, but we're supposed to be smart with our money. And if we came together more as a legit old school army, knights and all that kind of stuff, and knights of the round table, we would be a lot better off. So that's what I want to bring down to earth. And then that way, what we're doing is we are proving to this realm that God's real, and that people are like, oh, well, I know my address home. And so that's our goal number two. Long-term goal is to get short-term, get some heaven to earth. Long-term, get as many people home as possible, back to heaven. So, which brings me to the Colossians part today. So every morning I pray, I'm like, God, just show me what you want to show me, my daily devotion, or I can spread the word. So he showed me a couple things, but in Colossians, there's pretty easy stuff. It says on one chapter 3, I believe it starts out in verse 23. My girls are out there reading it right now, but it says, we are to serve with joy, everything we do with our heart. We're serving our Heavenly Father. There's always like a however, but who we're going through is Jesus. So I may have written it down a little wrong in the intro, because it's like I have to keep it super short in certain places. The algorithm only lets me type out so much stuff sometimes, and I want all this to stay, because it all matters. And I try not to I try to make it as short as possible, so we can fit it in here in 10 minutes or so. So point back to this is in Colossians, it talks about we are serving. We're not serving man. And that's why when I introduced myself to folks, even yesterday, a guy walked up to me, no kidding. It's always this way at a bar. I was there, by the way, to talk to them about getting a weekly event going, which we'll talk more about as we keep going. But an older guy walks up to me, and I'd handed his table, there's 4 older adults, and they were just in town driving through. Their retired folks. They were just driving around. They drove in from Ohio, which is like way on the other side of the state. So anyhow, none of them mentioned anything about being a veteran. They said, hey, we heard you talking. We saw you handing out business cards, and you must be a local. not really, but they're looking at bridges and things because this is like the most covered bridges and so anyway, we started talking about one of them, and then a while later, this older gentleman walks over to me as everybody else is taking a bathroom break, and he and I are the same height, and he walks over to me and he says, "Hey, I saw your card, and what do you do?" And I said, "Well, are you a veteran?" And he goes, "Well, I'm not, but I'm a Christ follower, and I appreciate you putting that out there." And I said, "Well, awesome, because here's my point to what I'm telling you guys. When I talk to folks, I say, I call it a family business because I only answer to big G God. I don't listen to little G government, take, divide, devour, and all this kind of stuff. I don't listen to that shit. So, and pardon me for throwing out, I'm working on it. I hear myself. So thank you for helping me correct myself in front of you here. But I listen to him, and I have the brightest of light because of him, because he made me. Again, I can't explain him. So, nor do I want to try. He put me here in front of you guys to share my light, which is his light. And then through Jesus, we get back home to him. So he's got the biggest father heart to bring us back home. And like Jesus says, down here, bones are still going to break, hearts are still going to break. So life's not going to be easy here, but it could be better and with more intention. And that's what we have to do. We have to align with him. And that's my point to talking to you guys about Colossians today, because everything that we do should be for him, not for blah, 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 talk, and little G gremlins and all that kind of stuff. And I like that the word inheritance comes out in that passage, because what I run into over the past 10 years is, man, do you guys get weird about money? And everybody's married to money differently. However, our Heavenly Father says that you're supposed to be a good steward of money, and then he gives you more. And that way you can, other folks can explain it better than me, but living cheap so you can have cash on hand to divvy out to poor people isn't exactly God's path. Maybe it is for a time, for a season. But as one guy said, he lived that way for 15 years, and then he and his wife figured out that was the wrong thing, and that by taking money and making more money, they were able to deliver more money in 1 year than they could in the entirety of 15 years. Well, that sounds better than me. So again, you have to have your path, and have your own season for a reason. But that's why God gives us eyes and discernment and his word. Hey, God, is it supposed to be 5 months or 15 years? Which one is it? So anyway, but back to me helping you guys. So for almost 10 years, guys, I've helped with God's grace, helped deliver over $10 billion to you deadly folks out there. And every time I get in front of you guys, you say, Albert, God bless, man, keep going. And that's why I'm here. I'm here for you guys. And I love it. I love getting hugs from you guys. I love getting the pat on the back from you guys. I love knowing that my goal is to get you to 100% permanent and total as quickly and compliant as possible. And that there is always a yes and something else, or well, now what? Or well, what if? And I love to be that guy in between to help guide you to that, and have a team around you and say, hey, well, if this bad thing happens and you die an old man in your bed, which is going to happen, well, your lawyer Bill, lawyer Brian, one of those guys, is going to call the VA on your behalf and say, hey, you know what? Brother so-and-so got called up to heaven today. We lost him last night. You need to pay his wife the maximum amount of money. And the VA goes, oh, okay, roger that. Like, that's what it should be. Do you guys have that clarity and confidence? Do you have those knights of the round table fighting down here for you? Because I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of BS on this internet. Okay, there's a lot of BS out there, and that's what our Heavenly Father and Jesus gives us the authority to do, is to, one, call out that BS, and number two, give you the truth. So I'm giving you the truth, that even though some of these guys out there who are trying to help, they're helping blindly. They haven't helped over 3,000 deadly humans, Delta, MARSOC, 160th fire pilots, all the deadliest folks on earth come to me and don't let me discard Joe. I'm telling you, when Joe goes, oh, I'm not that, I'm Joe. I'm like, oh, I love you, Joe. I love Joe. Okay, there's 20 million of you and I alive today. And that's a constant. There's always going to be a certain amount of the population that's alive. That's not counting your family. So I help you with 3 levels of money that nobody else out there is going to talk to you about. I help you with right now money, mid-range money for your kids in college, long-range death benefit money. And I know you older folks go, well, that middle part doesn't really count anymore because I'm 60, 70, whatever, 80 years old. Okay, there's still right now money, guys. There's still death benefit money. You're going to want to know about all that stuff, okay? So, guys, I'll always tell you, like Jesus says, wisdom is knowledge plus action. So I'm closing with this every time. Get on my calendar. Website's there. Go to my website. You'll find the button. Just scroll down a little bit. You'll find the button. Click the button. Get on my calendar. Let's get you going. It's onboarding call. It says 10 minutes. It'll take us half an hour. I love to brief you for about half an hour and chat with you and fill in any gaps and stuff. So within half an hour, we'll get a good enough warm and fuzzy to hang up and get back to your day. And let's go, man. It's your inheritance. It's not mine. I was talking to my daughter. We have my daughter, my older. I have 2 Irish twins, so I've got olders and little ones. So my little ones are 9 and 10, and my 10-year-old. We sit out and have tea in the morning, and today we were talking about that, the inheritance stuff, because we were talking about gas prices and all this kind of stuff, and kids like that, they don't understand that. But I was telling her about where I was in 9/11, and because I worked in a clinic as a sports management guy, and that's where I was in 9/11. And I remember that day where gas was in Texas, Dallas area, 99 cents. And of course the kid doesn't understand that. And but due to my service, I'm not retired, but due to my service, my kid's college is in essence paid for. And also my son right now is heading into his junior year. Wow. Junior year of college. And he gets paid currently, or now, summer break, but the pay chart is $1,600 a month for those guys. So I'm telling you, man, it's such a peace. It is so peaceful getting you guys to 100% permanent total and helping you know that you have solidified your right now money, your mid-range money for your kids in college, if that is applicable to you, and your long-range death benefit money for your family. So that way you can go, well, now I know that when I die, somebody is going to be there to help. The round table is already there. And I love that I do this all the time because I'm like hugging you guys, but this is a hug and round table from now on. Hug and round table. Okay. Do you have a hug or round table anywhere else you go? You don't. And if you did, I would know about it. I would know about it because I'm telling you, I work with the dead list and they tell me a lot of stuff. So I want to get more people at the round table. We got seats open. Seats are available. Seats are available. So yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to go eat brunch with my kiddos. But yeah, man, we'll get on my calendar. I know somebody just popped in. So get on my calendar. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you guys. God bless.